Welcome back to Midday News. A high-powered ministerial panel headed by Finance Minister P. Chidambaram today decided to put on auction spectrum in 1800 MHz and 900 MHz band. He said that auction in 800 MHz band is likely to be held by March end and all recommendations will be put before the cabinet.
The next auction of 2G airwaves will begin on March the 11th this year. The empowered group of ministers on telecom decided on Monday. In 900 MHz band, spectrum in Delhi, Kolkata and Mumbai will be put on auction. Companies bidding for 900 MHz band can now bid for a maximum 15 MHz in Delhi and Mumbai and 12.5 MHz in Kolkata. In 1800 MHz band, spectrum in 4 circles, that is Delhi, Mumbai, Karnataka and Maharashtra will be put on auction.
The auction for the 1800 MHz band in 4 circles in which bids were not received in November 2012 will be put up for auction. The reserve price will be 30% lower than the reserve price that was fixed in November 2012.
For CDMA airwaves, that is 800 MHz, the panel has recommended lowering the base price of the spectrum by 30 to 50%. Auction in 800 MHz will be conducted in all the circles. The final decision on the reserve price will be taken by the Union Cabinet.
Auctions in the 800 MHz band in all circles, since no bidders participated in that band in November 2012. And the reserve price for the 800, we will take recommendations to the Cabinet and the Cabinet will decide on the reserve price.
Government failed to auction CDMA spectrum at 1.3 times high reserve price than that of GSM spectrum in 1800 MHz band in auction that concluded in November 2011. The last round of spectrum fetched the exchequer just 900 crore rupees as against the government expectations of 28,000 crore rupees on account of high reserve prices. The government is hoping that the second round of auction will be more successful, earning the exchequer about 20,000 crore rupees. Sidhant Sibal's report, DD News, New Delhi.
Okay, now business correspondent Sidhant Sibal, who just filed this report, joins me from newsroom on the latest. Now, Sidhant, just in one question, just sum up the significance of the recommendations that were given to the decisions taken and more on the spectrum allocation.
Well, let me just say the biggest story arriving out of today's EGOM is the lowering of the reserve price, as the story just said. For CDMA and the GSM, both the reserve price have been lower. For the CDMA, about 30 to 50%, there is a cut in the reserve price, and for GSM for 30%. Last auction, which took place on 12th of November, we saw for GSM, it was a lackluster auction with almost no bidders. For CDMA, there was no takers in a sense because of the high reserve price. The reserve price was 1.3 times times higher than the reserve price kept for GSM. Well, 4 main decisions were taken today, which already story told you, which was the 1800 MHz in which unsold spectrum in Delhi, Mumbai, Karnataka and Rajasthan will be sold. The reserve price will be lower by 30%. For the 900 MHz band, Delhi, Mumbai and Kolkata spectrum will be sold. And for 800 MHz, which is the CDMA, the reserve price is expected to be lowered to 30 to 50%. The auctioneer, procurement, the company which made sure the auction went all right in the last auction, will be conducting the auction for the next round, which is going to take place on 11th of March. And for the CDMA, it's expected that the auction will be concluded by March end.
Okay, Sidhant, we're just running short of time. We'll leave it there. Thank you.